Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. I got to tell you what, snow is on the way. 2 new models are coming in. We got more coming in as we speak. And I'll have the trends for you. I've got a hunch and things are looking to be on point. Let's go ahead and continue this discussion. Drop a comment. Let me know if you believe in superstitions. Do you do things like start the snowblower early or maybe buy a new pair of boots in hopes that you won't get snow? Your forecast is coming up right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Let's take a look at the radar. We have a wild one going on out there in Montana. Hey, Ethan, good to have you on board. That reminds me, drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Dale, good to have you. Frankie's ready for the snow. Thanks again to everybody for joining. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have going on. Right now, let's go up to the radar up here so we can take a peek at the watches and warnings. I do have a hunch, and I'm going to start right out with it. This storm system is taking aim on northeast Montana. By looking at the cameras, it's impossible to tell the exact amount of snow that's fallen, but I can tell you it's several inches already in northeast Montana. Moving into Williston, we've had ice. We have our first travel alert in the northwest North Dakota zone for, well, areas of freezing rain, and now it's getting topped off with a whack of snow. Now, I think that heaviest band of snow is going to set up. I think there will be possibly an extension to where we have winter storm warning counties. See this little blank spot here, St. Cloud, and points off to the east, Fergus Falls, and points off to the south. And I do think that we'll see some areas that do get to those winter storm level conditions. What is that? 8 inches of snow, wind, and all of that fun stuff. Annie watching from AL. Is that Alabama or Al? All right, good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Simon, good to have you on board. As always, Nathan, thanks for watching from Jamestown, North Dakota. Alexandria, drop a question. I'm going to get to them if I can, but be patient with me because I can't read all of my platforms here at the same time. Hey, Derek, good to have you on board. West Fargo, let's hear it. Let's get on with it. Now, I think this is going to extend this way to the south and to the east, and then maybe even up to the north, and I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to show you where. But let's start off with Hutch's forecast for snow. Why don't we not hide in Alabama, says Annie. Good for you. How are things down there? Are you ready for Thanksgiving? I have to tell you what, this cold air that we're going to be having whipping in here is certain to head down to the south as well. Hutch's forecast for snow. Northern Plains, get on it. Let's talk about it. Okay, first and foremost, this is a model average. It shows northeast North Dakota, northeast Montana rather, northwest parts of North Dakota, straight down into the Southern Valley and straight across Minnesota. That's the model average. These numbers are kind of meaningless because some models are a little north or south, making that average kind of skirt around. Here's what's important. And this is the forecast for snowfall. Notice very little up here in the northern corner of Minnesota, northwest Minnesota, northeast North Dakota, spots. Not much. You won't get the snow machines out in this, and a pretty sharp ramping up as we go into places like Grand Forks and Devil's Lake. But 1 to 4 seems to be on point. 1 inch is going to be likely. Here's how you read these, by the way. You know, you see these numbers, and I could put a forecast out. I've seen you guys poking us meteorologists. Yeah, 0 to 72 inches. That should cover it. Well, no kidding. You know, over a short distance here, we're going to have 0. And I think some areas will see 8 or 10 inches of snow and maybe over a foot or 2 feet of snow as we get into parts of northern Wisconsin. So, yeah, 1 to 48 inches should cover it. Hutch is done. I'm out. Oh, no, wait. I got more work to do. Sorry about that, Jen. Can't say I love the pretty pink color on your radar, but I'm so happy we get to hear your forecasts again. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Amber, good to have you on board from Maddock. And I got to tell you, Annie, okay here, hoping to get to North Dakota from Alabama. Well, I don't know what day your travel is. This is all happening on Tuesday. And as we go into Wednesday, it's gone and on its way into parts of Wisconsin, depending on your route of travel. And if you're taking a horse and buggy or an aircraft, all those things will come into play. Now, let's talk about this. See this heavier band, how it goes right through Minot? And then it sneaks down into Sheridan County. Yeah, that's you, McCluskey. And look at this, Harvey. You folks, too, will be eating some snowflakes out there. A 1 to 100-inch snow event. That should cover my forecast, real Jonah Funk. That's a good way to put it. Exactly. Jess Malvin, thanks, please no. And Stephen Singleton says, hello from Wyoming. Howdy from the Cowboy State, he's saying. And we say howdy right back. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this heavier band of snow. Hutch's numbers. The lower end is likely. Okay, so where you see the blue colors here, 1 inch is likely to happen. It's almost a guarantee, but then we can put some areas that'll get 4, maybe a little bit more inches of snow in this band. And then it's going to ramp up and 3 inches will be likely, with many places having a chance for 6 inches in the narrow band of heavy snow wherever it sets up. No model can tell you, no human brain can tell you that. We can just take data and kind of take a look at that radar once it starts to form, and boom. Someone says 3 inches max for Minot, no more than that. Chris, let me tell you, I think I respectfully disagree. Let me show you why. This model says 5.2. Now that doesn't mean too much. It depends on where the banding sets up tonight and what's going on just west of you. Do you want to see it? Let's go ahead and look at real data. So Hutch's forecast shows this heaviest band. I'm going to sneak off here and use my arm. Ready? Hutch the weather arm. You see this? Look at this nonsense. In the time, it moves into the southern valley here, South Dakota, and southern North Dakota, and starts working its way out. It's going to punch into some more moisture and some more strength. And we'll see these Hutch the weather hand. It's going to really increase as we get out towards the north part of Wisconsin or the south shore of Lake Superior, because north winds fetching moisture off the lake, that's lake effect snow, and you're going to get hammered all the way into Wednesday in northern parts of Wisconsin. The UP of Michigan is going to be up. UP in snowfall totals right there. We're talking 1.5 to 2.5 feet of snow. So that's within that 100 inches rating there. Okay, let's talk just a little bit more about what we have going on with this system as we go through. And now we're going to take a look at what's happening right now. Let's go to our neighbors in the big sky country of Montana. And them big skies are filled with flakes. We got areas of impact north central Montana, now stretching into northeast Montana. Now, as we take you in just a little closer, you see this asterisk here? Oh no, we got a stuck vehicle blocking lanes. What? That's just outside of Scobie. As you head to Plentywood, that's not wood, folks. That's plenty of snow out there in Plentywood. Now let's go down here to Fort Peck area, Glasgow. You get into Poplar on Highway 2. Look at the road. Now you can tell, and I can tell, that this is on the road in the trenches there. You're seeing sloppy snow. That's sloppy snow. Snow that's not clean because it's kind of dirty looking. It's wet. And it's slushy, and the coldest of the air has not arrived yet. But you can see these tracks forming on there. Those tracks are definitely going to be at least a few inches of snow. 2 to 4, impossible to tell exactly or precisely how much is going on there. Now, let's close this and show you what's going on elsewhere. So we're getting out toward the border here. This is outside the east part of Culbertson. If you've ever been there, a lot to see there, except you can't see out of this camera lens, because it's clustered with ice and snow. So that's what's going on in these parts now. We see Circle, Montana right over here. We're starting to see some fun over here. Check it out, south of Circle. Brad, good to have you on board. Thank you. Donating for the pizzas you're going to need. No kidding, if you hear Pedro barking, Brad, here in a couple of minutes, the pizza is coming to the door. You called it. Wow. Hi, not looking forward to this. Christy, go start your snowblower out there. Maybe we'll just ward this storm system off. Here is a look at, that's darkness out there at the Lindsay Divide and Circle. Not a lot of lights in that part of Montana. I gotta tell you, I've been through there many times on my way to Fort Peck Reservoir as a young man and a little kid. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in North Dakota. This storm system has caused, that's right, our first travel alert up there in the oil patch. Now, as we zoom in and take a look at some of these areas, the roads are not very fun, and this is why I wanted to talk to you about Minot specifically. Let's go just outside of Williston here and up to the north. And this heavier band you can see is already, whoops, I better get it on full screen. Yep, horizontal flakes accumulating on the road surface. You can see the car's tire tracks going right through there. And this is already starting to turn into a little bit of a munching mess out there. Now, as you go west of Minot, what's going on? Yep, the flakes are flying. They're big, and they are starting to multiply. Yep, the flakes are flying. They're multiplying. And I'm losing control. Not hopefully losing control in your vehicle. You know what I'm talking about. All right, now let's get out here toward the oil patch and south Watford City. Yep, we got tracks going through there. So we have at least 2, maybe 4 inches of slushy wet slop that's working its way onto the roads, and it is accumulating. So this is happening already, and the brunt of the storm is going to be making its way into the Minot area. Let's talk models. Let's go to the latest. Santa. Santa joining. Oh, no, that's Ethan. Good to have you on board, Ethan. I see a Seahawks logo up here. Dustin Johnson from East Grand Forks. Thank you very much. And good luck to your Hawks out there. Julie, thank you very much. I like being funny about it. Now, there's some seriousness to this weather. We can't do anything about what's coming. There's a lot of people out there that poke us weather meteorologists and they say, we're going to get what we get. We don't need a weather person to tell us which way the wind blows. No, you don't. But it's kind of nice to know, particularly if you're going to travel. So let's get to talking. Oh, wow. Davis says, you think Glendon will have to cancel school? I can't cancel school. I'm leaving that up to superintendents. That's why they are called superintendents, because they make the big calls. Whoa, that's a big old fire in Hutch's fireplace over here right now, getting us this place warmed up. We're going to ward off this snow. We're going to do the best we can. Model time. Now, here's the newest models that's coming in, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is really interesting stuff for you folks in Minot. Snow on the doorstep as we head into the evening hours. This is the highest resolution model, and it's also one that Hutch likes. I'll tell you why I like it. Number one, models start. The time we start the model, we have to put data into it. It's kind of like feeding the candy machine. You ain't getting no candy out unless you put some money in the machine. Well, we put all the data into the machine twice a day. What do I mean by that? Twice a day, we put real data in. Not only from what's going on the ground, temperature, humidity, and all that weather nerd stuff that Hutch cares about, and all us meteorologists do. And not only that, we send weather balloons floating up into the sky, and they give us temperature and humidity, moisture, pressure, wind direction, all the way up to about 10 miles up in the atmosphere. Then pop goes the balloon and down it comes. But you know what? Only twice a day do we start a model with data from every slice of the atmosphere. The rest of the times during the day, that's either forecast model data, and it's filled in a little bit with some airplane data, with some satellite estimates of wind speeds and things like that. It's nothing like starting out with real model data. That happens twice a day at 0Z, Greenwich Mean Time, and 12Z. See all these Z times on here? The whole world uses the same clock to get our models started by, so we know we're dealing with the same data. Let it snow, says Candy. Oh gosh, thanks. I miss seeing you too, Leah. Thank you for watching me here, though. I really appreciate it. And you know what? I like this platform better because you can ask questions right now, and I can try to give an answer. Now, let's talk about this model. It started at 0Z is the data we put in, and it's out. It's ready. Some of the long-range models that we let run for a week to 10 days or even longer, they're still calculating numbers right now. So I won't have those models yet. So keep that in mind. But this one's out, and I'll show you a couple different versions. Here's why I think Minot is going to be in the band for some heavy snow. And I already think there's 2 to 4 inches of snow out there to your west, and it's on the way. So the snow, not there yet, but it's over here in the Williston area and points north in particular. That don't scare you, right? But this low is moving south. So that heavy band that's setting up there in Plentywood we showed you, and I said that wasn't wood you're looking at, that was plenty of snow. We should change the name from Plentywood to Plenty Snow. Yeah, that's what they're getting there. Now this is going to roll through Minot as the low travels south. That heavier band is coming through your kitchen. So it's going to move through very close to Minot, and I think the chances are pretty good. You're going to be in that, well, let's say 4-inch range easy, and on the way up towards 6 or more in that area. So that's what I think. That's why Hutch thinks Minot has a shot at some snow. All right, now let's keep this puppy moving. Rain on the south side, that's going to be some freezing rain or slippery areas. Here we stop this at, well, you subtract 6 hours, that's 00, that's midnight. So tonight at midnight, the snow is punching into places like, oh no, Wishick and Napoleon and Gackle, and all you guys are going to start seeing the snow. Cullum, you're going to get some flakes flying. This is closer to the low pressure center. And do you see how the snowfall right here is a little heavier? That's one of the heavier bands. So we also have another area of low pressure right here, and just north of that, we have a heavier band. I don't know for sure that this is exactly how the pressure is going to pan out, but I do tell you this, we're going to have a band of heavy snow here, and there's often a secondary, sometimes a tertiary band of heavier snow. And look where it is, right through Minot's kitchen. So you're going to be seeing snow here in Minot in a little bit. You're going to get a heavy band waving through, and it's going to stick around for a while. and then it's going to slide to your south, but you ain't done yet. Now, as we go towards daybreak, here is 5 a.m. Now, Bismarck, it's been snowing for hours there. Your morning commute's going to be not fun, unpleasant, and unlikable. Unless you're, crud. Somebody called this crud. We could change it to a C word instead of an S word, and we'll say crud for the rest of this broadcast, because Bonnie, I hear ya. Pingree, Buchanan, and Kinzel right here. Look at you guys. You're in the dark blue, and in this case, that's a lot more crud than your neighbors up here getting. The snow is letting up, but look at these isobars. Do you see these isobars? Those puppies are kissing like, well, you know, the school kids did. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, right? They're getting so close there, they got to be separated by the teacher. That's some strong wind, okay? So we got snow on the ground, and this is where we're going to get that polishing effect, cold air diving down, and it's going to get slickery. And that crud is going to be really tough to drive on in the morning in places like Dickinson, Glen Olin, New Salem. Sue is going to need some skis out there. Somebody run up that hill and give that bovine some wood to get down the hill to school safely on. Now let's talk a little bit. We got Bismarck, Jamestown, Valley City, dark blue. The heavier or bigger flakes will start moving into your area. We're talking snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour in the heaviest band. But look at this. Here we go. 6 a.m., snow beginning in Fargo. Snow beginning in Grand Forks. But the heaviest batch, see how light things are way up north? The heavier batch will be very close to this low. There'll likely be a lull in between. This looks like snow everywhere. Probably not going to be like that. We're going to get a band here of snow, probably a break in between, and another band of snow. So that's kind of the way these things oftentimes set up. And here we go. With the low moving into Minnesota, you're starting in the mid-morning hours. All depends on how many geoengineering airplanes are spraying. Oh, no, that's not happening, Jason. I got to tell you what, this has nothing to do with anybody seeding clouds or nothing like that. This is about a storm that we see coming, and it's about the moisture that's available from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's all about the track the system takes. That's what it's about. Now, look at the wind. So as we're waking up mid-morning, Fargo, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, these areas will start to see some snow. So the Southern Valley areas, Fargo and South, will have heavier amounts of snow. That is why I think that warning might be, I can't tell the Weather Service what they're going to do because they are looking at some of this stuff right now too. But I think parts of west central Minnesota, we're talking Traverse County, we're talking Wilkin County, and I do think Richland County, Roberts County, South Dakota, these areas here are going to have this heavier band move through. Now, more and more models are starting to show a real intense band sliding over the I-29 corridor down towards Huron and Watertown. Will you get big snow? Well, look how long it lasts. That's 3-4 hours of 1 to 2 inches per hour. That could be big snow already, and it could come with an area of, well, we call that sleet out there. Those are little ice balls, okay? Those little tick, tick, tick frozen balls of ice. That's what they are. Okay, Serenity, good to see you on here. Evening, finally snow. Yay, a lot of excitement going on out there. We're calling this, by the way, for those of you joining us late, crud, because somebody suggested that we use crud. Bonnie, thank you very much. Now, let's go ahead. Look at this wind. Wind and snow together, midday, Fargo, Wahpeton, Breckenridge, all the way out here towards our friends in Sabin. You're going to look at Pelican Rapids, the lighter snow now, but it'll be getting heavier. Meanwhile, a little bit of rain and stuff making its way through northern Wisconsin. Don't worry, it's going to change over. Here we go. Heavy band of snow associated with this low slides through as we go towards your lunch hour and beyond. It's ending in Bismarck. It's ending in Jamestown by the drive home. But it will be slippery, and there'll be some areas of significant snow. Look at the heavy band now. It's shifted south. So where before models were showing this moving straight, west to east across Minnesota, it's diving south and then moving east. So because of that, I think Fargo is not going to be in the heaviest band of snow here, but we won't be far from it. And I think we'll see increased amounts just a little bit south of us. And Richland County, Sisseton Hills, if you are out there in Wheaton, if you are out there in, let's put a bullseye out in that Wheaton area and down towards Big Stone County down here, these areas are going to get a pretty good dose of snow and wind. Now, is this a blizzard? A blizzard is heavy snow and wind over 30 miles per hour that lasts for 3 straight hours, reducing visibility to, okay? So if you look at this, I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Look at this area right in here. I'm going to hold my finger right here. You're talking about Morris, Benson, this area, maybe even Grant County. There is 1 hour heavy snow, strong winds. 2 hours heavy snow, strong winds. 3 hours, 4 hours, and then it starts letting up. So it's really close. The fine line is, well, you can get a blizzard at Dairy Queen. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, I like blizzards. I like them any time of the year, but I'm not a big fan of winter storm and snowstorm type of blizzards. I don't like snowflakes in my teeth. Is Bismarck going to get slammed? I think the heaviest band of snow is going to spread. Watch the dark blues here. You're going to have a period in Bismarck, if I hold my hands here, where it starts out as rain. Bismarck, Mandan, boom, quickly changes over to snow midnight tonight. This model has it at midnight, and then it lasts all the way until we get to, let's call it there, midnight to almost noon. You'll have up to 12 hours of snowfall on and off, not solid straight through, but on and off periods of snow with snowfall rates of up to 2 inches per hour. You could see a good 4 inches of snow in Bismarck. Pretty easy from that. That's Hutch's opinion. I'll show you my forecast model again here in a second. As we go into the evening drive time, it's exiting places like Fargo. It's exiting places like Sisseton. It's exiting places like DL, but still quite windy with some light and blowing snow out there. And any snow that's on the ground will be that heavy, wet cement style snow at first. But I do think this latter snow that builds up throughout the course of the day as temperatures dive bomb into the 20s, it's going to be that blowing snow. It will be blowable snow out there as well. Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, I think you're going to be on the lower end of things here. This thing is going to impact the Twin Cities now. And I think that heavier band is going to be just north of the metro. And I think the metro will get a fair amount of snowfall as we go into your Wednesday morning. Notice how gross this is, Kevin Schmidt. That's exactly right. It's continuing snowing into Wednesday morning for the cities, and it's gone out of Minnesota completely by daybreak. Okay? Wisconsin, you're going to keep getting slammed from this crud. Okay, crud is another 4-letter word for the snow as it works its way across, because you're going to fetch some additional moisture off that big lake out there. So that's a look at this particular model. And now there's another high resolution model right here that has a similar track and timing. Minot right into the Lake Sakakawea and Max area, and then diving into, say, Wells County, Richland County, Stutzman County. This one goes a little farther south with that heavy band. But look at this, Fargo, Wahpeton, Breckenridge, Otter Tail County, Grant County, and look at this, Morris Benson again. So I think that those areas do stand to see some potential for some significant snow. Model 3, because you all are a great crowd out here. This is a brand new model that is all the way in. This has a very similar track, right? Snowfall starting in Fargo, but around daybreak shortly after. It'll be light at first. The main event really gets going as we go through noon, and it's snowing through the drive time home at 6 p.m. Heavy snow and wind, Fargo and points south, lower snow amounts, although you'll see how that heavier band of snow, brief shot of moderate snowfall or heavy snowfall possible with this model up north. But again, if you look at Morris, Benson, if you're looking at Douglas County, for you folks out there in Alex, I think you got a shot. So let's talk snowfall totals one more time. We did this earlier. Let's do it again. Then I'm looking for questions. Hutch for president. I don't want to run for that mess. I appreciate your trust in Hutch, though. But man, what a... you have half the country not liking you. Let's not turn this into politics. I got blue and red on the map. Is that good enough? Let's talk about some snowfall forecasts. This is Hutch's forecast. I think this is going to be very, very close. Looking at these newest model runs that have come out, there might be just a little sneak to the south with that heavier snow. That's what I think. Now, could it change? Yes. Why am I not changing it? Because I don't like changing it. I don't like changing it every time you see me. I don't like doing that, so I'm going to stick with this until I see significant and increased reason to change it. Right now, the radar's lighting up over here. It looks like a good 3 to 6 inches of snow on parts of them roads in northeast Montana already, so I think these are panning out. Williston, Liu, Minot. This says 5.2. There's going to be that band of snow, Minot, and particularly if you're in Max or just south of Minot, a pretty darn good chance at seeing a few areas that get that isolated 8 inches of snow. No kidding. There's going going to be a narrow band of it, but that's going to be there. Then that's going to be on again, off again in places as we go here. Sheridan County, you and your friends over here in Wells County got to get together and have a little talk, because there are going to be some of you that's going to have to do some shoveling. And the best chance will be southern parts of Wells County. So Fessenden, I think you'll have a better chance than your neighbors to the north and Harvey of seeing that heavier band. Notice as we go to the northern part of the county here, you're into the blues, and with a far southerly track to this thing, if it dives even a little bit farther south than Harvey, you're spared, but your neighbors in Fessenden might need to borrow your shovel, okay? Stutzman County, Ypsilanti, all the way up here into Woodworth, and all of you folks out here in Medina, Cleveland, and all the way up to the north. Whoo, look at this. If you happen to be in the Carrington area, you stand a better chance than your neighbors to the north in New Rockford of seeing some heavier snow. Same thing for the Devil's Lake area. I think that 1 to 4 will be good. I think 2 is good for this area, with a fast ramp up to that heavier amount. Yes, you're going to have a brief period of some heavy snow that might make its way through. Does this say 4-ish for Bismarck? It does. I caution you, Kevin, on this, because I do think that this area in pink is very close, and there has been a southerly trend to the models lately. So I'm going to say Bismarck has an easy shot at 4, with your neighbors just north of you having this 3 to 6 inch band moving through. So a pretty decent shot at 4. And if the southerly trend does continue, Bismarck does stand a chance to see just a little more. Terry, thank you for your stars. KR, thank you. If I've missed you on Facebook by sending stars, I truly appreciate it and couldn't do it without you. Now, as we take a look at this, remember, the cities is going to see heavier snow, as is this area here as we go down towards Morris and Benson, based on the latest model runs. So, snowblowers in the shed. Okay. Well, you know, will it melt at all? No, this is not going to melt. We're looking at a big cold blast coming down after this system here as well. And that goes for you folks in Bismarck, Mandan too. So I think that Fargo will be in this 3 to 5 inch range pretty simply. And I go just a little bit south, and we're going to see that start ramping up. So if you're traveling south on Tuesday, if you're traveling south and east on Tuesday, it's going to take you a while to get out of that snow, and that you're going to be running into some wintry travel conditions. The heavier band of snow, this 4 to 8 plus, is going to be making its way through places like Brainerd. We could be talking Little Falls a little more now than we were earlier, because I think that this Minnesota band could be stretched down here, right here, and moving this way. So we could move it south by about 30 to 40 miles maybe. So that's what Hutch is thinking. This is my forecast. I think the amounts are still good. Many will see 4 in this pink band, but some places will see 8 to 10 inches of snow. And once we get into Duluth, Superior, and on toward the Apostle Islands, well, it looks like it's going to be a mess there. And it will last well into Wednesday for parts of northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Well, at least we won't see the dog poo in the yard for a while. I like your optimism, Kevin. You're my kind of person. Deb, thank you. What's Thanksgiving Day look like? Here you go. Thanks for asking. Anybody on the YouTube channel, thank you for watching. I see we have well over 100 folks up here enjoying the show. And if you have a question, I want you to drop it now, because there's a difference between watching Hutch and watching your local news. And that's the fact you can ask a question, and I'm going to do my darndest to try to answer it if I can. Are you relying on the NAM or the HRR? Though you just looked at both of those model runs, Andy, and they both look very similar. I usually rely on the European on the extended forecast, but when we start dialing it in, I actually don't rely on either model 100%. My snowfall forecast that you saw there was basically a look at the HRR forecast for snow. However, I will say this, that none of the models is right every time. You know, you could rely on the HRR on this storm system, and the next one is something else. It's up to us meteorologists to tie it together. How does Hutch do that? Thanksgiving Day looks cold, by the way, to answer your question. Sometimes Hutch gets sidetracked. Squirrel! Oh, sorry. Okay, so It's going to be gone by Wednesday. We'll have the plows out. There will be slick areas of road. We'll have cold temperatures falling down into the single digits. Some of you will be below zero as we start your Black Friday. And it looks like another shot of light snow could be making its way into the region on Saturday. I say light because the long range models have basically kept that light. The coldest weather arriving as December is opened up on your calendar. Mayor, thank you so very, very much for sharing stars. Wow, I am humbled by all of you. Check this out. 4 below zero on your Monday. Now, let's take a look at that long-range forecast. I am going to steer over to the European model. I like to get through one system before we start talking about the next. Why? Because where the snowpack is on the ground will impact our surface temperatures, which will impact the track and the strength and the temperatures with the next system coming behind it. So absolutely, all of these things will rely on what happens with this storm system. But let's go ahead and take a look at your system moving through Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, it's slamming the Great Lakes. Look at this. There could be flat out winter storm conditions, if not blizzard conditions in a few areas if the isobars get that friendly together. You ain't wanting that when you're talking about trying to go fly a kite, because your kite's going to end up in somewhere down in Arkansas or Tennessee or something like that. Maybe even curl around and whip back up into Toledo, curl back around and hit you in the back of the head like a boomerang. Okay, moving on. Friday. Here comes the next Colorado low. And this one does impact parts of North Dakota with snow and then slides out into Iowa, southern Minnesota. But wait, there's more. Models have been trending and showing this low moving out this way. See how it comes back up? Now it's showing Minnesota. Okay, this one is taking a little bit farther south and east track into Wisconsin and Michigan, the way it looks. So that's the European model. This has changed. It was bringing more snow to southern Minnesota with that Saturday system. I'm not thinking so. I do have people asking me if they can fly into Minneapolis for the weekend. And at this particular, if this particular forecast pans out, it looks like there'll be fewer weather problems. KR Kruger, thank you so very much for sharing stars. Kevin, thank you very much. Stay safe, everybody. Have a wonderful night. I'm so ready for the new year. Let me go over a couple things to keep in mind. I want you safe out there when you make decisions. I'm going over a lot more information that you're used to seeing on a typical weathercast. You know why? Because I want to show you why I think what I do. Why I think Minot might be close to a heavier band of snow than 2 or 3 inches. And why I think that just south of Fargo, we're going to see a little bit more snow. Yes, I've been wrong before. There was that day in the 70s. But let's not go there. Let's talk about the fact that all of this stuff we put together to give you information so you can make decisions for you and your family and keeping safe. I know it's not a lot of snow for North Dakota. Heck, I've been here with you for these storms that dump over 2 feet of snow in a couple of days. Let's talk about this, though. Here's our system working its way in. It's making its way into central North Dakota. HutchesWeather.com has the radar for you. You can zoom in. You can tilt the earth. You can do all that fun stuff with the radar on here. But not only that, I want you to know about my friends at OK Tire sponsoring the road conditions page. This is cool. Pro tip here. I don't care if you're in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, Colorado, anywhere in our region, Montana, and all of our Canadian friends and provinces too. We've got links here to your DOT pages. So quickly, you can see what you're going to run into. Not only can you see the latest from the DOT here saying, yep, we've got a travel alert in purple. How does Hutch know that? You see this legend box here? Just go ahead and click on it right from the website and it'll show you the legend and you can see, oh, this is a travel alert in purple. And if we see a red line on the road, that means the road's closed. I see yellow lines. That means, oh, ice and compacted snow already on the ground, Williston down to Watford City and all the way up to the international border. Look out, Bowbells. Look out, Crosby. Look out, Stills. Look out, Nash. Take a look at this. Pro tip, turn the cameras on. The DOT, you've driven by them 100 times. They have these instruments with the whirly birds on the side of the road and cameras. And this is where we can take a look at what the road conditions look like. The blue means wet roads here west of Bismarck, but we are starting to see the yellow push its way in towards Minot. What's it looking like in Minot or just west? Let's go look on the west side of town right now. And we do have dark skies. So you can do this. And you can take a look at what these roads are looking like at different places along your route. Here we go. We're at the Four Bears Bridge, and look at that bridge. It's passable for sure. This isn't blinding or anything like that. We can see the tracks in there, and they're able to keep up with it at this point. So in that particular area, we're seeing some impacts to roads, but it's something that we can live with. Now, we can go into Montana and look at other states. The other cool thing about this is if you go down on this page and you scroll down, you're going to get to the accumulation snow forecast. This is brand new on Hutch's website, and it's something we put together for you. You can push on the play button here. This puts the snow forecast in motion. Accumulated snow is happening here. It is here. And I can tell you, based on the camera sites I'm seeing out there on roads, we got between 2 and 4 inches of snow on the ground up there just by the Hutch's bird's eye. Now we push the play button. Now you can see where this thing is tracking the snow. Woo, look at that. I haven't looked at this yet, but it has just south of Fargo with some purple and pink. You want to know what purple and pink is, you got to look over at the legend, because there's not numbers you're going to find on this, but you can get an idea that purple is 9+ inches. Look how close to Fargo that is. If you are down there in places like Oxbow, and if you're down here at Comstock, and if you're down here in the Sisseton Hills, you're going to get shadazzled with some crud. And look at all the crud making its way through. So now do you understand why Hutch says, I think that it might be fitting that warned area extends down here toward the southern part of North Dakota and also into northeast South Dakota, and we may see that happen yet. So be on the alert. Keep flexible travel plans. You do not want to be driving through this. Remember I said Little Falls and you can't see this map? Well, get your mouse over here on your cell phone or your computer at home, and you can do this with me right now, and zoom on in to your Little Falls location. There you are, Little Falls. Now, as we put this play bar into motion, let's see what it shows you. Little Falls, how about you folks and your neighbors up there in the area near Brainerd? So I got to tell you what, there's Brainerd, there's Little Falls, there's Long Prairie, all in the pink, and that's over 9.3 inches on this little scale. Crud. C-R-U-D-D. Crud. All right, that's a look at your forecast and some tools to help you along on hutchesweather.com. Drop comments on my website. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see. Any road closures expected? Look, Minnesota does not close roads readily. North Dakota will sometimes close them overnight if we end up with some blockage by cars. We got to let the plows through is the main thing. So the bottom line is that I can't predict that, but with upwards of 6 to 10 inches of snow and isolated places picking up more than that in Minnesota, upwards of over a foot as we get into that area between Duluth and Minneapolis and southern parts of Lake Superior on the south shore, yeah, there'll be some problems on area roads. There's no question about that. What does Monticello look like? Hey, how about that, Theodore? Thank you very much. I'm thinking that if we take a closer look at Monticello, let me load it up on the computer. I got to reload this up. All right, here we go. So let me, I got to reload this thing back up here. Sorry about the delay here, but you ask questions. All I got to do is go get the facts. So now as we take a look, we're going to look out here. You want to go shopping, Monticello. Yeah, you see there's a sharp drop off on this particular model as we go into the Twin Cities. It's looking like, you know, 1 inch to 3 inches of snow in and around this area. So you're in that rapid drop off on this particular model. On Hutch's model, let's show that right now and what's Hutch forecast, because this is a brand new forecast model. I don't care what app you're using, you're going to look at one model and one model only. And that's where a guy like me can sometimes be helpful, I hope, to help pick out which model I think might be onto things, particularly as the snow starts unfolding. So as we take a look at the Minnesota forecast here for snow in and around the Twin Cities, let me put this back up. Here's Hutch's forecast. We're going to look in toward the Twin Cities. Here you go. And that's in that 1 to 3 category right here. But remember, the new models that are just coming out showing a little beefier. So I think 2 to 4 sounds pretty good for Monticello, 2 to 4 inches. It'll be wetter, it'll be a little heavier, and it might be more rain early and then switching over to snow, and that's what I got. You are the very best. Thank you so very much. I'll keep you updated right here. Look for a morning update a little bit later in the morning We'll watch and see what happens with our watches, warnings, and advisories. But for now, winter storm warnings are in effect for much of central and northern parts and eastern parts of Minnesota, showing you that graphically right here in red. That's where the warning is. That does include eastern parts of Becker County, eastern parts of Otter Tail County. This is Douglas County here for you folks that are in Alexandria, Brainerd Lakes area, all the way up toward the North Shore and South Shore of Superior. And yes, Ely too. We have the blue counties, by the way, winter weather advisories. Lower snow amounts are expected, except Hutch says, I'm thinking, my gut is telling me, heavier band of snow straight down here. Grant County, Morris, Benson, you folks will be in. The whole Big Stone County will likely be in it. Richland County in North Dakota is going to be right on that ramping up of heavier snow. And Sisseton, the hills there on in towards the Brown County area, Marshall County, South Dakota, you guys should be likely seeing a heavier band of snow making its way through there. And there will be areas of heavy snow that will challenge that 8-inch mark in a few spots as well. Christine wondering what Staples look like. Staples is great. My folks lived there for the better part of 40 years. If you look here in Todd County, though, here's Hubbard County. So here is Wadena. As you go into here, Wadena County and Todd County right in here. So as far as snowfall goes, you are in the winter storm warning in that area. And if we zoom into your area, you can see Long Prairie, Little Falls up here, Todd County, Staples. Okay, so right in this area, Staples, and point south, you are in the warning, and it does look like a reasonable chance for seeing 4 to 8 inches of snow, and some areas could see as many as 10 inches of snow in this area, I'm afraid. I'll keep you posted right here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your question. Hutch's PA gonna get some snow. Josh's weather. Let's go take a quick look over here, and we do have a couple of areas over here in Pennsylvania. There are some winter concerns in New York. This would be a concern due to the lake effect snow that you would be familiar with if you're in northern PA. What part of PA are you in again there, Josh's weather? I forget. But the bottom line is that if we take the models forward, and I'll go ahead and put one up here just to answer your question here. I got to look at the national view, though, as opposed to my upper Midwest view. And I'm happy to do that. Just got to bear with me for 2 moments here while I load that puppy up. Okay, so we're going to load up the European model, and your chances will come a little later as this storm system evolves, moves through the Great Lakes, and heads into your area. As you see here, look at that big bombing storm right here. Boom. I shouldn't call it a bomb because technically it has to meet certain criteria for that. Heavy snow metal. Yeah, rock on, Don Wolfshawn. Yeah. Hoo-ah! Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-dum. This storm rocking through a lot of north wind. It's gonna make the snow stick like glue. That is really bad. So let's just talk snow. Do you see how this low moves north through Wisconsin and taking the heavy snow through the UP of Michigan and Michigan here? So Wisconsin, Michigan, and on out. And here's your lake effect machine making its way into northern parts of, well, let's say Erie, Pennsylvania, and all the way up and towards Syracuse, New York. Buffalo, New York will see some prolonged snow. So the northern reaches of your state will likely have some PA flakes, and we've been calling it crud here tonight. So you might get some of your own crud. Central PA might get some light snow or flurries according to the European model. I can quickly switch this over to the American model for you and show you. Ooh, that's a little bit farther south track. Let's see if that impacts central PA. Maybe a little more, but not a lot more. Okay, so the best chance will be in the areas that typically get the lake effect bands of snow. Those can extend for several miles away from those lakes, by the way. All right, Hutch's weather here joining you. Thanks so much. I'm going to leave you with this. I'd love to have your comments on this outro. It's made with you in mind.
This Thanksgiving, if the family starts arguing about who ruined the stuffing, just quietly grab the remote, turn on Hutch's weather, and say, shh, I need to hear this part.
I'll give you 90 seconds of peace, maybe more if there's a storm.
From all of us at Hutch's Weather, happy Thanksgiving, and good luck around that table. Anywhere, anytime. at hutchesweather.com.
Thanks, Troy Carl, for sharing a gift with me on my YouTube channel. Thanks to all of you for hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. Thanks to all of you for hitting the follow button on Facebook.